You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Awesome. You excited for today's installment of Exploring Anime with Friends?
Yes, I am.
Today we will be exploring the world of Ossan Newbie Adventurer, trained to death by the most powerful party, became invincible. A comedy fantasy released in July of 2024. First we will meet our main protagonist, Rick. Yeah, that's right, Rick. We'll learn about his journey coming from a nobody to a legendary adventurer. After that, we'll meet the party that he joined, Orichalcum Fist, and its many different members. Then we'll look at Rick as he goes through the promotion exam to become an E-rank adventurer. And finally, we will go into the mission of Orichalcum Fist and some of the adventures that they must undertake together. And if you like what you're hearing today, remember to follow us on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow. Rick!
Rick.
Talk to us about Rick, Sarah.
Oh, Rick is great. Okay, first things first, he's a nice guy. He's a genuine dude.
That's a little whiny at first.
He is, well, because he's feeling very overwhelmed. Because he has been training with what he doesn't quite realize is like the top of the top. And he's failing every time. In the very first episode, he's pretty much like, I still couldn't beat them. And in the background, you see these nice and glowing eyes, and they're all happy that he's come this far, but his only thought is, I still haven't beat these people that are trying to train me.
Yeah, he's comparing himself to S-class wizards in a land where S-class wizards are feared far more than the monsters that they take down so effortlessly. Like, these are people who are with reputations of being stronger than dragons and the ultimate beast of the land. Mm-hmm. And he's been training with them. He doesn't even know what it's like to be going against normal people.
Well, he thinks they are the normal.
Yeah, right?
That's the problem. He thinks they're the ones that are just average.
And as a result of it, he's very down on himself. One of the things that separates Rick is his age and his start into adventuring. Talk about what he's done with his life up to this point.
So just a little mythos in this universe, when you're young, you can pretty much try to develop your mana pool. If you miss that part in your life, there's no redo. If you just don't devote time to it when you're young, you can't suddenly be Rick's age, which was 32. Yeah. You can't suddenly be Rick's age and be like, well, I'm bored with what I'm doing. I want to be an adventurer. Now let's work on my mana pool. You can't do that.
Yeah, and Rick did not start as an adventurer when he was younger because his parents were very protective. They didn't want him to lose his life doing that. And they're like, get a good, steady job.
Yeah.
So he gets work as a guild receptionist at the age of 16.
He's a hard worker.
So he's the guild receptionist, and he excels at what he does, but he realizes that every single day as people are coming in who he grew up with, he's seeing them on their adventures and everything, he realizes how much he's missing and how much he just wishes he could have that start over. Mm-hmm. And one day, someone by the name of Rayonette, and things happen. Talk to us a little bit about really kind of that door opening again for his life.
All right, so as Rick is doing his cool guild reception-y stuff, he happens to meet Rayonette. She's a dark elf. She's cool. She's very quiet. And out of kind of nowhere, and it's alluded to a little bit that there's monsters getting closer to the city he's in, monsters start attacking. And with that, a dragon appears.
All the A-rank adventurers are taking it on and failing miserably.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a whole lot of A-rank adventurers right there right now. It's a handful. And unfortunately, Rayonette, for whatever reason, she can't tangle with dragons. I don't know if it's like a mental block or what. She can't fight dragons at all. And no one knows she's an S-rank adventurer either way, but she's realized that she can't do anything. So this dragon has this crazy ability to basically put a shield around it to keep people and prey in. So Rick, some of these A-ranks that he's kind of grown up with, and Rayonette are all in it. And they're getting beat, of course. And Rick finally is like, we can't just give up. We've got to try.
And he's not an adventurer at all.
He's not. He's a receptionist.
He's a receptionist. He has a hidden innate ability that allows him to overcome obstacles when he knows something is impossible.
Yep.
But he doesn't really have control of it. The point is, he stands up to this creature, and despite the fact that it's basically a suicide mission, he stands up, and eventually the other members of Orichalcum Fist swoop in and destroy the dragon. And someone who mentioned to Rick before, yes, you should just give up on your dream of becoming an adventurer, he turns around and he acknowledges Rick, and he's like, I take back what I said before. You can be an adventurer. Orichalcum Fist takes him under their wings, and they train him to death.
Quite literally.
Yes, multiple times.
Multiple times.
Rick dies a lot.
Over and over again.
Want to talk to us about some of this intensive training?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin. There's just... So, the cool thing about it is the leader of Orichalcum Fist, Ralston, he's an orc and he has this cool healing magic. As long as he can get to Rick or someone soon enough, he can just revive them.
And he's a highly intelligent orc.
Highly
he
intelligent.
is the scholar of the group, and this is a world where orcs are not intelligent. He realized from a young age that he was different than every other orc that was out there.
Yeah. So they honestly don't care if their methods are going to kill Rick or not because Ralston can just bring him back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool. And that's kind of one of the reasons why Rick's always was like Rick. That's kind of one of the reasons why Rick was down on himself because everything they would do just kept dying. But one of the forms of training that Ralston brings out, he gets these big like golden punching bags, and you find out through a little bit of the mythos is like the golden punching bags are basically made of like dragon materials, and dragon's like the toughest stuff. And Ralston's like, punch this like 5,198 times.
I think it's 10,000 times a day.
And so that's where it starts. He's just punching and punching. He's not doing anything to this bag, but eventually gets to the point where he just punches it and just annihilates it. And they have to keep replacing the bags. Other training is just, I don't know, one of the mages of the group just starts like casting down fireballs of doom from the heavens on him. And
I think that Alyssa,
yeah.
Yeah, she's a little vampire
Little vampire girl. She's adorable.
I wish we saw more of her in the first season. She's mostly just there, when the group is making a decision, everything, they're talking it over, and she's like, not sure what she's saying, but sure, sounds good.
Exactly. And she's always eating, always eating.
Also kind of noticed that multiple times she is channeling her mana into everyone else. So I'm guessing that there's something where the more she eats, the more mana she has, and
that
she
makes
can pass
sense.
it off.
Yeah,
But
no, that definitely makes sense.
I want to talk to us about our dwarven member of the team.
Dwarf?
Yeah, isn't Mizette a dwarf?
No, he's an elf.
Is he half elf, half dwarf?
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, his last name is Eldwarf. Yeah, that name is screaming half elf, half dwarf. But yeah, that creates like machine guns and bazookas and motorcycles and like everything that you would not expect in a fantasy setting. He's just pulling in from 5,000 years in the future.
He gives like in one of like the flashes of like Rick doing his training. Rick's got like a bazooka on his shoulder, and Mazette's standing there, and the bazooka basically backfires. And we're like, well, it's okay, just keep going. It's just Mazette's a funny character. Little bit of a perv, but funny.
Yeah, kind of also a little bit of a sloth, too, when you think about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's kind of, yeah.
And then we met our Dark Elf Renette before. She has a lot of agility-based combat. She does a lot of really good slicing and dicing. And she also serves as the main love interest for Rick, too.
It's really cute.
Want to talk about your ship a little?
Obviously, I want to talk about my ship. So from pretty much the get-go, before like the big monsters start attacking the city, when he meets Ray and Annette, he just kind of like throws caution and was like, yeah, why don't we just go and get some dinner sometime? And she's like, okay. And my jaw dropped, I got to admit. I wasn't expecting random girl to say yes to this. And like Rick's jaw dropped too, for what it's worth. Since then, she just seems cool with Rick. Like, she's not pining after him, or like...
No, she's not pining after, but at least once pretended to be her boyfriend to get some sleaze
like
bag
a
off
protective
her.
manner, yeah.
She was very okay with it. And one person even asked him at a later different point in time, it's kind of like, what if people think that he's your boyfriend? And she's like, I'm okay with that. As a matter of fact, I kind of would like it.
Yeah. So
but it's very matter of fact.
Yeah. I like the ship. It's cute.
It's different than the average anime ship, it feels like.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But yeah, so those are your members of Orichalcum Fist, and all four of them are S-class wizards. They're all pouring everything into Rick to get Rick ready to take the adventure exam to be promoted up to rank E. And if you like what you're hearing so far, remember you can watch this for yourself on Crunchyroll, home to over 1,000 anime, both subbed and dubbed. And check us out on social media. Once again, like, subscribe, and follow. All right. Promotion exam. Talk to us a little bit about it. The early parts, where Rick thinks that he's just a nobody taking on the exam. And he kind of has proven that he's a nobody, because when he does the thing to test his magical reserves,
Oh, no.
to show how much he has, it's just like,
Yep, it
just fizzles out.
Kind of fizzled for sure.
The instructor at that point in time says, yeah, dude, you're 32. Like, you're double the average age here, and you got no mana pool. Like
what you doing here, man?
You should just bow out now before you embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't listen, and he doesn't embarrass himself.
He does not embarrass himself, but we knew that. We knew Rick would pull through. So the first test is the all-encompassing punching bag. But it's not the gold one that Rick is used to working with.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's not the top-tier dragon gold one. It's green, which is significantly lower on the scale of punching bags.
It's the novice level punching bag.
Yeah. And so they're having everyone do whatever they need to do to, like, hit it the hardest. So, of course, everyone is trying their greatest magics, and Rick is just kind of not impressed.
But other people are, like,
yes.
Freed, when little Freed Deermoot
Oh.
steps forward and casts his little level 4 fire spell at it. Oh, my goodness. Everyone goes wild and crazy, because this little prodigy has just done some damage to the green punching bag.
Level 4 damage of that magic is great. And then Rick just takes a normal swing at it. I don't even know if he was using any kind of like offensive strength buffer that
Nope.
they always talk about. No, he just throws a punch and it obliterates it, of course, because he's way past that.
Everywhere. And at this point in time, little Freed, you realize he's becoming the protagonist of this first portion, because he is not happy that he got upstaged.
Oh my gosh.
Then they talk about their defensive capabilities. It will be the next test, and he's like, oh, "Great, I have such great defensive capabilities.
I'm the best defensive ever."
I'll show this
40-something.
Talk to us about that test a little.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. The proctor goes at it with their most powerful magic, and you have to defend yourself. And yeah, Freed does fine. He's fine. He survives it. And the proctor's a little nervous when Rick shows up, because he's like, you don't look like you really have any defensive magic going on. And he just tanks it. It was like maybe like a level 1 defensive thing.
Tanks it to such an extent that it actually enrages the proctor.
Yep.
And the proctor's like, if you can't ask for more, because, Rick just very casually tanked it and said, oh, that wasn't bad. And the proctor's using some good stuff.
Yeah.
And so the proctor's insulted and takes another shot at Rick, one that's way too powerful for the tournament. But Rick just tanks it again, and the proctor's like,
I want to just add, he wasn't like being smart alecky when he commented about tanking that hit. He was actually like, oh, okay, that was good. He wasn't been like, oh, that was good.
No, he's
a nice guy.
He's like, my level 1 spell should be enough to block your, like, level 6 or whatever the spell was.
Yeah, right?
He still doesn't realize how powerful he is up to this point in time. And the day comes to a conclusion, and you suddenly realize that Freed has tattletaled about the big mean 40-something
That
to
beat
his
him.
older sister, Angelica. Talk to us a little bit about that duel.
Is it fair to call it a duel? So when I was first watching this episode, I was dying. I was laughing so hard. So Angelica is an A rank knight. She has training. A rank's pretty high, especially compared to all these little guys trying to get their little E rank test. So Rick is terrified of her. He is absolutely terrified. And Ray, and that's kind of been there, like I don't remember where the rest of Orichalcum Fist is right now, but Ray, that's been there, kind of cheering him on the whole time. And she's just like, do the fight. Don't worry about anything. Angelica's basically like, winner takes all. Loser becomes the other person's slave. And Rick's like, okay. So she's known as probably the fastest on like the knights that she works with. So she's getting ready to do her flickering feet move. And Rick is just like so into it that he's like bracing himself. But as she starts forward, his mind process is like, she's so slow.
Yeah, no, because he's used to seeing everything from Browston or
all
other
of them.
ones. Like, I mean, let's Mizette literally makes bazookas,
Guns and
machine
crap,
guns.
yeah.
Like, he's used to seeing bullet speed. He's not used to seeing this really slow movement. But at the same time, he's like, no, there's got to be something hidden. There's got to be something going on. And then, like, Angelica trips over a rock, and he's like, oh, my goodness, such unpredictable movement. I've got to dodge. And he's thinking to himself because he's seeing everything in, like, slow motion. And Rayadak calls out, don't forget to dodge.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, yeah.
The whole thought process was while she was attacking him. that whole thought process. And yeah, Raynet speaks up and he's like, oh yeah, I do have to dodge.
So he basically just, with light evasive tactics and one incredible display of power, gets her to concede. And obviously she runs away. She doesn't pay the cost or anything. And we later find out the next day he has to do a duel in order to finish the final part of the exam, and the older brother of Angelica and Freed wiggles his way into being the proctor in that duel.
Wiggles is kind of undermining what he did. He was a jerk and basically beat up on the guy that Rick had started to form some camaraderie with, and we're like, yeah, we're going to have this great fight. He basically beats that guy up and takes his spot.
But yeah, no, long story short, there is nothing he can do against it.
Yeah.
And no matter how much they try to cheat, no matter what they try to do to get it to where Rick can't pass it, Rick ends up passing with flying colors.
Easily.
Many people acknowledge that, yeah, no, he's already at the S-Class level. When they start to realize it's like, oh, wait, he's hanging out with Orichalcum Fist?
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's a member of Orichalcum
He's a member.
Fist? Most people start to treat him like the S-Class adventurer he is, despite the fact that he only gets the E-rank title through it.
I'll admit, that kind of bothered me. I was really hoping that there was some way he could skip a couple steps, because he is so obviously above everyone. But whatever, we'll keep this good story either way.
I mean, give it 5 years and he'll officially be an S-Class, even if he's fighting at S-Class power.
I mean, yes, but with how powerful he is, I just felt he should have been able to skip over, like, at least 3 years worth.
Well, I mean, he does kind of, you do get to see him skip through the process in a later mission in the season, where he ends up doing 40 battles in 1 week to qualify for a pugilist tournament.
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's backtrack a little. Why is Rick entering a pugilist tournament?
Yeah, why?
It's because Orichalcum Fist has a special mission. Talk to us about the mission, Sarah.
All right, so the big thing, the reason that Orichalcum Fist was put together is because everyone in Orichalcum Fist, and this is referenced with like one of Rick's dreams mentioned at the very beginning, is that he wants to defeat Kaiser Alcipiad, who is the biggest, baddest dragon monster ever.
Or at least alleged to be. The truth of the matter is, Kaiser Alcipiad only appears in the writings of Yamato, and many people aren't sure if Yamato is even a real person, if he was an exaggerator, if anything. So a lot of people just wave off Kaiser and Yamato as potentially being fictitious, but Browston knows for a fact. And how does he know this for a fact?
Browston actually worked with the person that wrote Yamato's story.
Yeah.
So he knows.
And that was the origination of Orichalcum Fist. And the way that whole thing goes down there, you know what? We'll give the background story. Browston returns to his village one day when he was younger, the orc village that really had nothing for him, and he realizes that the orcs have been dealt with. They've been slaughtered. Someone reports that there's an orc wandering around in the wild, so an adventurer comes to look for the orc to take it out. But he ends up having that conversation with Browston, and he asks Browston about his goals, and Browston mentions Kaiser, and he's like, I'm the guy who wrote the book. So it was a very special moment there, and at that point in time, they form Orichalcum Fist together, and eventually he asked him, how did he know Yamato from the past, and he's like, you know, my special ability allows me to age slower. Yep. So it's one of those things where he was able to live long enough to connect with a young Browston, and Browston eventually puts together this elite team who their sole purpose is to hunt and take down this ultimate monster.
Yep.
And in order to do it, they have to collect something, don't they?
Yes, there's 6 jewels that they have to find, and somehow these jewels will open up what's called the source spiral, and that's where Kaiser Alcipiad is sleeping.
Yeah, and they only have one, so they're doing the search, and they're going around the countryside, and, you know, they're trying to find more, and they eventually stumble across one. It is the gemstone in a championship belt that is passed on every single year between the #1 pugilist in the land. So what do? Rick and Browston, they enter a pugilist tournament, despite the fact that they're not pugilists. They haven't been doing the circuit this whole year, and people are telling them, there's no way that you could possibly get into this. You have to do, most people only allow 1 fight a day, and you have to do 40 fights in a week.
One specific person is telling them this.
Yeah, well, tell us them.
So the person that tells them that is just baffled by their complete ridiculousness of you have to have 40 matches and you only got a week is none other than Angelica Deermoot. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
She has returned.
She has returned, but at this point in time, she's a much different person.
She really is.
Because she's seen these people do the impossible multiple times, and she actually kind of likes them a little at this point. She thinks they're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it's funny because I don't know how many times in the second half of the season it's kind of like, oh, he's just casually talking about doing the impossible again. I'm not sure why I'm not sure why I'm surprised anymore. It's kind of like, you guys just do stuff like this all the time. Okay, let's just continue to suspend all belief that you guys are Orichalcum Fist and nobody else is.
I'll admit she became very endearing during those kind of conversations. It was funny.
Yeah, so Rick and Browston are running all over the place. They're running from one arena to another because you can only do one fight in an arena every single day, so they have to run all around the countryside to get to different arenas.
Which is apparently something they can do easily.
To qualify within a week, which I think Browston qualifies in 2 days and Rick qualifies in 3 days, so it's kind of like, and at this point in time, what does Rick do? He starts helping to train Angelica, too.
Yeah, because, it gives Angelica's background story. Now he's suddenly, has a passion to help her, not in, a boyfriend-girlfriend sort of way or anything silly like that, because obviously he has eyes for Ray and that. But just in I want to help you fulfill your dream. We're going to train you.
And, by the way, there are so many monsters in this tournament as a whole. This is one of those things where, yes, Rick and Browston, they are monsters. But I'm telling you right now, there are monsters that appear to be on par with even them in this tournament. And so it's one of those things where Angelica is definitely more of an underdog, but through the course of the qualifying rounds, she wins enough, Rick wins enough, and Browston wins enough to get into the final 16 and then into the final 8 remaining. And this is where it all gets interesting. And you have someone who has never been beaten, who is completely unbeatable, a monster of a lizard man, resurrect. And then you also have a dog man who has won this tournament so many years running at this point in time. And Kerwin, he's been waiting for someone to truly challenge him. And man, he gets excited when he sees both Rick and Browston.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
He's like, we are finally going to have a tournament this year. And that's where we're going to leave you. We will let you know the tournament is concluded by the end of the season.
Yes.
And the fights in the tournament are absolutely amazing.
It's fantastic,
right? They did an excellent job for tournament-style fights. Definitely appreciated it. Everyone's cheering along. Renette makes a little bet with Rick to help motivate him a little. And, besides that, you see a lot of growth in Angelica in the course of it. To the point where she actually signs up, not to be a member of Orichalcum Fist, but to train under Browston. She is going to go under the Rick treatment to become, frankly, I'm assuming in the second season, the 6th member of Orichalcum Fist.
I really hope so, to be honest.
So they left it open.
Yeah.
But besides that, anything that you want to say in closing, Sarah?
I thought it was great. At first, I thought it was just going to be this goofy, funny anime about an older dude who's, just doing his thing. But I started to like it more than just the goofy, funny anime, especially when we started seeing the pugilist event. The characters grew on me pretty quick. It was really good.
First 4 episodes, Rick whined too much for me.
That's fair. I thought it was funny, though, personally.
I was having a problem with the overpowered, whiny protagonist because, frankly, that trope is kind of lame. When they're as overpowered as they are, and yet they're whining about everything. But eventually, when Rick realized that he was powerful and he stopped whining like that, he becomes a much more enjoyable character, and it becomes a very enjoyable anime. So I enjoyed it. It's not sniffing anywhere towards my top anime or anything like that. But
still enjoyable.
I'm definitely going to be watching the second season when the second season comes out, and I'll make it a little bit more of a priority. It grew on me as the season went along. So once again, we introduced you to Rick, our main protagonist, who's insanely overpowered, but at the same time, still learning that he's insanely overpowered. Then we met Orichalcum Fist with Renette and Browston and the rest of them, and then we met some of what happened in the early exams where Rick and Angelica meet and Rick does battle with the Deermoots. And finally, we went into the tournament of the pugilist and explored the true mission of Orichalcum Fist. We hope you had as much fun exploring the world of the Ossan Newbie Adventurer, trained to death by the most powerful party and became invincible, and consider watching this anime. So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts. And hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. Binbuster. Live from YouTube, it's Tuesday night, the call sign of the Binbuster YouTube channel. Once you hear this, you know you're about to embark on a journey through pop culture, movies, comics, and more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Poppin' Cinema with Joe Mama and friends. Showcasing the power of cinema, join Joe Mama as he introduces different friends each week to a movie they have not seen before, popping their cinematic cherry as they talk about the movie they just watched every Tuesday at midnight.